You can't get this far-fetched in the starting location. You actually have to make it move to the other side. Alright, get this far-fetched. Got it. And here we have our HMO1 cut. He said that he makes charcoal, and if we actually go back to their little hut, house, whatever you want to call it, place, they have charcoal. This really isn't going to be as helpful in this playthrough as I'm not using Firestorm on my team here, but never know, might want to use a fire type. Good, thank you, charcoal made, fire type will hold it. We got the charcoal. And now that we also have HM cut, I want to teach that to our off-screen caught Oddish. Yeah, I was right. Leatherhead can learn that. Yes, forgetting that. For our first encounter in the Ilex Forest, we have Oddish. Evolving into Gloom at level 21, this Pokemon gets a split evolution, evolving into Vileplume with a Leaf Stone and Blossom with a Sunstone. Vileplume is a special attack-focused grass poison type with more bulk than Gengar poison attacking-wise, but has less attack, and as a grass attacker, it does get the good special grass moves we all come to know and love. It can do everything Blossom can aside from one, where Blossom gets Leaf Storm, but Solar Beam on Vileplume comes at the high level of 65. You're not going to be seeing this move for a long time. Blossom, gotten by the Sunstone, is Blossom, which is a special-focused Pokemon with a higher special defense than special attack. It also traded out its poison type for a pure grass type, and Vileplume does everything it can with the exception of Leaf Storm, which is gotten at the earlier level of 53, but this is basically a one-use move as you lower your special attack to use it, on top of having a lower special attack than Vileplume to begin with for the other grass moves they share. I'd say go with Vileplume over Blossom as it does have the better attacking stats, and the poison typing is a bit more useful paired up with grass on Vileplume than pure grass alone on Blossom. Paris. This is a bit of an underwhelming Pokemon. Right from its type combination of grass bug, it doesn't have much potential to go from there, having a very large number of weaknesses and not the best offensive type combination. It evolved at level 24, and aside from having a somewhat early evolution, Parasect can offer a team in terms of pure offense. It doesn't get its best move, X-Scissor, until very late in the levels, level 55, and it doesn't get any of the good grass moves as it has a very low special attack, and most grass moves are special-based. However, there is one thing that Parasect can offer a team that no other Pokemon is able to. That is the move Spore, a 100% accurate sleep move. Parasect isn't going to be a game-winning attacker that can wipe out teams with one move, but rather is a more tactical Pokemon that is useful for catching other team members, or in tough battles, statusing tough Pokemon and allowing the other members of the team to go in and take them down. Similar to how Butterfree operated, only much more accurate with sleep moves. Have to interrupt the bios for a second. This guy who's banging his head against a tree. What am I doing? I'm shaking trees using Headbutt. It's fun, here, try it with your Pokemon too! Yes. This is our first instance of what is called a move tutor. They will teach your Pokemon a special move, and well, they just basically just teach your Pokemon a special move. These aren't as accessible as this one would make you think they are. Most people would probably think, oh wow, this move tutor, these probably going to be appearing in most areas throughout the journey. No. This is one of the very few, and in my opinion, this one, the one who teaches us Headbutt, is probably the most useful of all of them we get until the Battle Frontier, which, actually, I edit that out, is the most useful until we get to post-game, where the good move tutors become available, but for the main story, those move tutors are locked out of us. Right now, Headbutt is actually going to be pretty useful. There's a few Pokemon that are only accessible through headbutting trees. Some of them are in trees that are in the regular trees that are everywhere. Some are in specific special trees, but they're only obtainable through headbutt. Back to the bios. Heracross. This is one of the many Pokemon now open to us from Headbutt. Sporting a very impressive base 125 physical attack, this thing hits hard early game. And even towards the end, it still does a lot of damage. Its typing does give it a double weakness to flying, which, given all the Pidgey we've seen lately, you'll be seeing flying types a bit often. But it's a Pidgey. You're not going to be seeing a lot of high-level, very strong flying types that pose much of a problem for Heracross until pretty much never. There really aren't many high-powered flying types that you are forced to battle against that can use strong flying moves, and even then, you wouldn't be using a Heracross against a flying type to begin with. Its defensive stats are pretty solid. It doesn't have terrible bulk for considering its great stats. Its speed is also very good. However, the one problem it does suffer from is as a bug attacker. This thing is not a bug-type attacker. The only bug move it gets by level up, the other moves it gets are by move tutor. Mega Horn at level 53. You're not going to be seeing this at all during the main story, which is quite fortunate as there's really no situation you'd want a bug-type attacker for in the main story. In the situation you go up against a Psychic-type Arise, it does get Night Slash by Heart Scale. And what Heracross is a fighting-type attacker. Early on, at level 19, it gets Brick Break. Best moves you could possibly want on a fighting type. And considering the next gym is weak to fighting, this thing is going to be extremely valuable to you. Towards the end, it doesn't get a lot of variety in what its moves are, mostly just learning fighting type moves, and Mega Horn. It does an excellent job of being a fighting type, and is a welcome addition to my team. Another Headbutt Pokemon we can now get is Execute. This isn't Gen 7 where we can get the Grass Dragon type Pokemon, so you're still going to be using a Grass Psychic type, which isn't that bad. It has very good special attack, base 125 on two types that are predominantly special attacking. It gets the good Grass move, Solar Beam, Leaf Storm, and it also gets the good Psychic moves like Psychic. It can do very, very well as both of these attacking types. Its double weakness to Bug is quite sizable, as well as it does have a good number of other weaknesses. Grass Psychic, I believe, is tied with a few other types for the largest number of weaknesses of any Pokemon type combination, but it also does hit stuff pretty hard with that high special attack. Defensively, not the best. 85 physical, 65 special, and not the best speed. It might not be designed as a wall, but it hits pretty hard. So one of the, I am learning slowly and slowly that there's a lot more of these, Pokemon that learn moves after evolving with a stone. It evolves with a Leaf Stone, which we aren't too far away from getting, so you can get yourself a pretty high special attacking Pokemon pretty soon. Next up on our list of Headbutt encounters, we have Pineco. Starting out as a pure Bug type, it evolves at level 31 into a Bug Steel type, having that amazing type combination that only gives it one weakness. It's a double weakness to fire, but not too terrible considering it gets moves like Stealth Rocks and Spikes, entry hazard moves, which benefit its defensive nature quite well. Its primary attacking moves are not that strong. Its primary attacking steel move is Gyro Ball, which does benefit its very low speed. Gyro Ball deals damage depending on how much lower your speed is than the opponent's. The higher your speed is than the opponent's, you actually have a lot less damage being done. And Bug Bite as its primary bug move. It doesn't get the good moves like X Scissor because, well, it doesn't have claws to use them with. And it's meant to be an entry hazard setter more than anything. When it gets low on HP, it can just blow itself up with the use of the move Explosion or Self-Destruct, and set up entry hazards with Stealth Rocks and Spikes, and remove entry hazards on your side with Rapid Spin. It can do a lot of different things, but it tends to end up being an entry hazard setter and then just use Explosion after using a Gyro Ball or two. We have Apom. Before this thing evolves, its stats are very unimpressive. It's a normal type, not that high of an attack stat, not that high of a speed, very low defense, and really not the best move pool. When it evolves, it gets substantially more notable. It becomes a very fast normal type glass cannon with a 100 base attack and 115 base speed. Its defense and special defense both stay at a base 66, but this thing's meant to be a fast glass cannon, defense doesn't matter. It evolves by learning Double Hit, which Apom learns at level 32, and then leveling up with it, so the second you learn Double Hit, it will likely evolve. Or at the very least, you'll have to level it up one more time, which really isn't that long. Ambipom has really good stats, but move-wise is where it starts suffering. It doesn't get a lot of very good moves because it's a normal type, and normal types don't get type effectiveness on anything. Its best moves with type effectiveness would be non-stab, and they aren't too powerful. If you want to have a very strong attack on this thing for neutral damage, that would be Last Resort, but you need to use your other 3 moves in order to use Last Resort. It can be fun to use, but not very practical, in my opinion.
Grandpa! Good work, Grandpa. The Pokemon you raised for me has been healthy as can be. You look fit, too. Hey, Chris. Let me introduce you. This is Chris. She's a trainer. She's going to be getting better and better at raising Pokemon. Well, not as good as View's Grandpa, of course. Follow me, Chris. Grandma, let me introduce you to my friend. This is Chris. Ah, this girl. Ah, this is your girl. Friend, I see. What? Grandma? What are you talking about? She just happens to live nearby. That's funny, because I've actually been in that situation a few times in my own life. It ended and started in a pretty similar way. Since you took her here, Ethan, you should be sure to talent. Right, Chris? Come see us anytime. So I better go see ya. This is the... was me interrupted by the game. Oh, almost forgot. My Pokegear number. Ethan. Pokegear. Ethan actually does nothing when it comes to... actually, well, not nothing. He gives you some useful things about move combinations, such as the opponent uses... You use this move against them, doing increased damage or bypassing accuracy checks or something like that. Not too helpful, as it tends to require very specific moves being used, not generally, oh, hey, this type is good against this type, or something that might be helpful like that. But, oh, if the opponent uses this move and you use this move, it'll do more damage. Before I get sidetracked, this is the Pokemon Daycare. If you leave a Pokemon here, and you can leave 2 at a time, they will gain 1 experience point for every step you take. There is another mechanic associated with the daycare, breeding and egg moves, and well, egg moves is a subcategory of breeding, and IV breeding, and all those, and the whole can of worms. But I'm not going to go into that because that is way too complex, and I could probably spend 20 or so videos just talking about egg moves and IV breeding and everything like that without playing this game at all. It's a very big topic, and I don't want to go into it because of just how expansive it is. That all out of the way, we can now start our Route 34 encounters. First off, we have Krabby. This can only be obtained by using the Old Rod. Evolving at level 28, this thing is a hard physical water type, which unfortunately does not have a lot of moves to back that up.
you're not going to be getting the Waterfall HM for a long time, and Crab Hammer is learned at level 56. So for a very long time, Krabby and Kingler will be using Vice Grip or Metal Claw or even Stomp for a long time. It doesn't get much payoff as, again, it does have very low defensive stats and pretty low speed, so it's not going to be bulking out hits and dealing back a knockout blow. It's probably going to go down to the first hit or two. Possibly even the first hit. If you want to use it, it's interesting, but there are better water types, as a lot of other water types have much better special stats to make use of those special water type moves. Up next we have Abra. Evolving at level 16, it becomes Kadabra. However, you can instantly trade evolve it into the mighty Alakazam. If you want a glass cannon, look no further. With a blinding 120 base speed and 130 base special attack, this thing is going to hit fast and hit hard. Its only downside is the fact that it has pretty low physical defense, a base 45 for a fully evolved Pokemon, or a base 85 special defense, which isn't terrible, but it does not have the best HP. The only things that can really defeat an Alakazam are pure special bulk or priority. And as not a lot of things tend to have that, Alakazam does very well. It's also one of the few exceptions to my whole mentality of a Pokemon has to choose between evolving and having higher stats, but bad moves, or not evolving for a while and getting stuck with pretty terrible stats while getting good moves. Alakazam's the one exception to that, as even with moves like Confusion being not too powerful, because of just how massive its stats are, it's going to be doing so much damage. If you find an Abra in the wild, you better catch it on the first turn. No trying to weaken it. It will use Teleport instantly, and it's gone. I know a lot of people who have agonized over that for a long time, and we don't yet have a way of making them stay in battle for more than one turn. So if you see one, don't try weakening it. Just chuck a Pokeball at it, or Ultra Ball, or whatever type of Pokeball you have to try and catch it. Up next is Ditto. This is a bit of a fun Pokemon in terms of usage, but not a very practical option. It has a base 48 in every single stat. However, its move Transform allows it to become the opposing Pokemon, or even just the target Pokemon if you're in a double battle or multi-battle, where it will inherit the stats of the opponent except for HP. Ditto's HP is always what its base HP would become, not its HP becomes what the opponent has. There's not a whole lot of situations where this benefits Ditto, as most Pokemon have a higher HP than Ditto, and every single battle that you use Transform on will become Speed tie when Ditto transforms into the opposing Pokemon and the opponent Pokemon is still out. So you essentially have to roll the dice every single turn to go first before them. Considering Ditto's low HP, getting unlucky would probably mean Ditto gets knocked out fairly fast. It can be fun, but not a very practical idea as a teammate. And rounding out our list of Pokemon here, we have Drowsy. If Alakazam was a bit too glass cannon for your liking and you want a tankier psychic type, too bad you're not going to find you're not going to find much for a while. Evolving at level 26, this thing is not a very good Pokemon when it evolves into Hypno. It has very good HP and an impressive 115 base special defense, but a 73 in both offenses is pretty bad considering it's a fully evolved Pokemon. It can take hits well, but you're probably going to be relying on moves that deal set damage, so things like Seismic Toss, if it can learn at Nightshade, or inflicting status like Hypnosis inflicting status like Sleep with Hypnosis. It's not exactly your best option for a Psychic type attacker, or even a tanky Psychic type, because it's low offense doesn't contend well with its bulk. A lot of Pokemon that tend to be bulky tend to have moves that can make them do damage despite being low in attacking stats, and it does have them, but as a psychic attacker, I'd recommend Alakazam over it. Well, that's really all we have in terms of encounters on this route. There's also one mechanic that we actually just got introduced in here. Well, not introduced to, but that is right around us that I would like to make special note of. Yes, phone number, yes, of course. Alright. This guy. This police officer man. I'm on patrol for suspicious individuals. He is the first police officer I believe that we have encountered, and they are the only NPCs that are time-specific for battling them as regular trainers. There are a few NPCs that are time-specific, but they are not regular trainers. They're much more important characters. These are only opponents you can battle at night. When the screen starts to go a bit different colored because sun is setting or it's going to night, then you'll be able to battle them. They are very interesting in that they're, I believe, the only NPCs in, I think, any Pokemon game that are time specific. Every other NPC in this game, you can battle them day or night, no matter what day of the week it is, assuming it's not a rematch battle call. But yet, these guys only battle you during the night, and because they're supposed to be looking for suspicious individuals, according to this guy, they're probably not doing their job if they're battling you at night. Well, now that that's all done, we can head into Goldenrod City. There is one thing I would recommend you get before going anywhere in Goldenrod, as this is a huge time saver, and because of all the stuff Goldenrod has, as Goldenrod is probably the most densely packed with content city we're going to be encountering for a long time, recommend you get this, because this could get lost in all the stuff we have to get doing. The bicycle. Unlike the other games, unlike, what was it, Red and Blue, you don't have to pay some outrageous price to get your bicycle. This guy just gives it to you for free because business is bad, and asks you to ride it around as advertising. I would recommend that you set this as your registered item, because now you don't have to go into your menu to use it. You can just press the Y button, or just tap the screen without having to press Y. We have higher movement speed. I believe that much like the running shoes, it does attract Pokemon and trainers. I don't know if it attracts it more or the same, but you will still attract Pokemon more than if you're just walking, as well as you'll also attract trainers. But you move faster, and it's also a bit more difficult to what would be the word? Maneuver? Is that the right word? As you can't really turn as easily as you could while running because you're moving faster, less time to react. Yeah, that about wraps up for now. There's a lot of stuff to do in Goldenrod. This is probably one of the most densely packed areas with content we have, just because there is so much to do that opens up right now. And it's not even, oh, you have to go back 3 towns and get this thing. No. This is everything in the immediate area. The route just above here, there's a place to go to. There's a heck of a lot of stuff to go over in here. And because there is so much, we're going to have to do it in another episode. Next time, we go over all of Goldenrod. See you next time.